Hi, today we're visiting Dr. Rindie Coker, and we're going to be talking about some really interesting things about food, food sensitivity, and cats, because Dr. Rindie Coker is a volunteer with the cat shelter, and you might or might not know about this insta-famous cat, and this cat is the diary of a cat named Carrot, so we're going to be talking about that too. And speaking of carrots, this is an excellent book that we have here, Veggie Man. I've read part of it, not all of it. It's great for kids to show them about eating veggies. Most kids don't want them. I had a brother who used to roll his vegetables off of the table into his pocket, and now he's a vegetarian. So, you know, you never know about that. Also, the emotion code, and the emotion code tells us about how we feel about certain things. But food makes us feel a certain way too. And Dr. Coker is going to show how she tests people, on me, for certain foods to find out what they're sensitive to, because it can change your mood, it can change a lot of things about you, your weight, your sleep, and other things. So welcome, Dr. Coker. I'm welcoming you to your own office, which we're visiting here on St. Charles.
Yes,
in
thank
Villa
you.
Park, right?
Yes, thank you so much for coming. It's been interesting having the new studio part 2 over here.
That's right. Things change.
Yes, it
in
does.
this world.
It sure does.
So where should we start? How would you like to start?
Well, we'll start. We're going to talk about food sensitivities just a little bit first. We've all heard of food allergies. The peanut allergy, the shellfish allergy, the allergy that if you come in contact with this food or this substance, it could actually kill you because it just makes histamines so quickly. But there's also some other types of ways that food might not be good for you that don't cause that kind of immediate life-threatening reaction. So there's the delayed allergy, and that's the one that you might not notice because it's usually to something that you eat all the time, and it can take about 3 or 4 days to create a symptom. When we see these and people say, I eat this all the time, how can this be bothering me? I go, well, this is how you feel all the time. So that's the that's the delayed allergy. Then there's the intolerance, and we might know that one as lactose intolerance or celiac disease. And that's where the body does not make the enzyme to thoroughly digest the food, and you might get some symptoms from there.
And don't we crave things that aren't good for us sometimes?
You can get chemical responses to food like gluten and dairy. If they don't break down all the way in your body, they make something called gluteomorphins and caseomorphins. And you realize what I just said there was morphine. So yes, these do make an addictive, a chemical that our body wants more of. A lot of times when we crave something, sometimes it's a nutrient in the food that we want. Sometimes it's an emotional connection that this food reminds you of.
I have
a
friends that
particular
ate
thing.
chocolate constantly. That's all they ate was chocolate and pop for years.
Yeah.
And I did not have that craving for it, but then I got it.
It rubbed off.
They say it's kind of a magnesium deficiency sometimes too, if it's chocolate and stuff
Sometimes,
like that.
yeah. Chocolate also, it's a feel-good. It's got theobromine, things that just make you feel good.
But I really like it with nuts and hazelnuts. And those are better for you, I think, than cashews. Now, you like cashews, but they claim that cashews are not really a nut, that it's some kind of a vegetable or something. I don't.
Cashews are really interesting. They
Yeah.
grow. They're actually toxic unless you process them a certain way. You can't just go pick
really?
a cashew off a tree and eat it. It's related to poison ivy.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
For, yeah.
Yeah,
for
so
everything.
if you come across a cashew farm, don't go picking the cashews.
Or an orange farm.
yeah.
Like one time I was going to take an orange and a policeman came. You can't do that in Florida.
Ah, you can't just go
Even
get
though
an
we were out
orange.
in the middle of nowhere. I can't do anything. I get caught no matter what I do.
You're a police magnet. Eh?
Yeah. I guess I am.
I guess so. So, and then So we've got allergies, intolerances, and then sensitivities. Sensitivities might not show up on any kind of lab test, but still your body is not happy when it eats that food. And we can do testing for food sensitivities. We can actually do the blood work for the delayed reactions and the immediate reactions. But there's another type of testing that'll help pick up the sensitivities, and that is muscle response testing. Where's the emotion code?
Right here.
So this, what I really like about this book, I read the first version when it first came out. He teaches you in this book how to do this testing. He teaches you how to find what's called trapped emotion. Remember I said sometimes the cravings are an emotional thing. So finding and releasing those emotions can really help people feel better. But he really does a great job of breaking down muscle testing and how it works.
Yeah, because it's not a hunger. It's a taste for something sometimes that you have.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a taste.
And
I
some
just want
people,
this.
like, I need to chew things. You know what I mean? Some people can just drink a liquid and be satisfied. And that's not true of me.
So muscle testing, we call it a way of communicating with the autonomic nervous system. It's the part of our processor. Our body is a computer. That's job is to know what's going on with every cell in the body. Now, muscle testing, to have it done accurately, a couple of things. You have to realize the only thing your body can say is yes or no. And this yes or no is in response to a question. So it's not really like you're holding something and your arm stays strong or weak. You're asking a question. In this case, we're just going to ask a simple question. Does my body react negatively to this substance right now?
And today I ate something that you tested me for once before and said I was sensitive to, so I want to see what shows up today if it's an extra sensitivity.
Right. So what I have here is a kit of common foods. And these are actual substances in here. This is really salt.
You know, I can tell when I eat something that's wrong. These days, I never could in my life. But if I'm sitting there eating dinner and I eat the wrong stuff, it's difficult for me to get up. You know, all of a sudden you feel like you have discomfort. Not while I'm sitting there. I can sit there forever.
Okay.
But once I go to get up, I know it.
And I might have eaten something that disagreed with me earlier because
And sometimes that just happens to
it
us.
just
You know, I mean, all of a sudden there's something that they don't want us to say, I guess.
Just gets, they got me. Okay. So anyway, we have actual foods here. And we have done this with Karon before. And she avoided some of these foods. Sometimes if it's just a sensitivity or a delayed reaction, if you avoid the food for about 3 months, then you can gradually start adding it back.
Well, what I found interesting, you know, I love all kinds of bread, of course. White bread was okay for me. Rye bread was not. And I love rye bread. And I ate some today.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
All right, so uncross your legs. Some people make people take off all their jewelry.
You want it off?
Maybe just your watch, because the watch has an energy of its own.
And you shouldn't wear it on your left hand, so I wasn't, because it interferes with your heart. I'm going to be the Christmas tree here again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's good enough. Yeah, some say it interferes, some doesn't, but you've got some magnets over there. So anything that might be a balancer, like a crystal or my little pendant, something like that, you'll want to take off.
Glasses okay?
Glasses are okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, so let's establish our yes and no. So just hold out your arm like this. And I'm going to take 2 fingers and I'm going to press on Karon right here. And I'm going to say, show me a no, hold. Show me a no, hold. Show me a yes, hold. Now, was I pushing any harder?
No, it didn't feel like it.
No. So I can say no, I can say yes, because what I want her body to do is respond with this when we run across something that she's sensitive to. So then you just take 3 fingers and touch them 3 at a time. And we're going to go through this kit.
With the
When your arm
opposite
goes,
hand?
With the opposite hand.
Okay.
And when your arm goes down, we're going to know that that's something that might be a problem. So, and I usually don't look, and I tell you not to look because we don't want brains getting in here. All right, so hold. Move down to the next ones. And hold. All right, touch one. No, touch
This
from
one?
here. Touch this one. Touch this one. Touch the next one. Touch this one. Next line. We're going to go through quickly. Next ones. Next 3. All right. Over here. Next ones. Last one here on this row. Try not to touch the others.
I'm trying to fight you, but I can't.
I know. You can't fight me, can you? Okay, if you need to shake your arm out, let me know. All right. And these can change. Sometimes, especially when people go through testing, they'll stop eating what they're sensitive to, but then they'll eat a whole bunch of something else, which comes up on the next test. So
Well, you can get leaky gut syndrome.
you can get if you come up with a lot of sensitivities, it's not that. It's leaky gut. But what this will okay, so what happens is when you start avoiding your foods, you still need to rotate your foods. You don't want to be eating the same things over and over and over.
Explain to people what leaky gut is.
Leaky gut goes through many different explanations. The common one is that our intestines will give your arm a break. Okay, so your small intestine, which is where your food is absorbed, is, what is it, like 3 tennis courts worth of absorptive surfaces. These are your villi, and tight junctions. So in leaky gut, the common explanation is that these tight junctions get less tight, which allow things that aren't all the way broken down to get through, which gets into the bloodstream, and food and blood should never mix. So when the immune system sees something that goes, oh, that's not me, it creates an antibody, the allergic reaction. More current theory is saying it's not really like the food particles that are getting out, but some what's called bacterial endotoxins. So it's like all the microbes that are in the guts are making their poisons, and that's what leaks out. So we're not quite sure, but it does exist, and when we heal the leaky gut, people do get better with their allergies. Okay, so I want to just come over here and
three
check
or
these.
just one?
Yeah, just these, and let's see what happens. Okay, all right, so we've been through most of the kit, and we're going to find that what Karon's come up with this time, and this is interesting, because, you know, we were talking about cashews. This time you've got cashews.
And I just ate cashews last night, and I don't eat cashews, but I did.
Okay. pistachios, which are,
And I
you
ate
know,
those and lost 10 pounds in a month when the COVID first started.
sunflowers. So you're having some issue with nuts and seeds right now.
And I'm eating sunflowers for the first time in my life.
Well, it could be that you're just eating too much. You know, you don't need to be eating these every day and just slow down. The other one is mushrooms.
And I love mushrooms.
Of
And I
course.
they say if you eat mushrooms every day, you'll never get breast cancer. So, and I love mushrooms. So everything that I'm eating now to be healthy is not good for me.
And this happens to people, that they'll start eating things, but they'll eat either too much of it or too often, and then this happens. And then the last one is refined wheat. However, remember I said you stop eating things for a while and you get better? You clear dry.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Because I love
And you had rye yesterday.
Okay.
So
That's
this
good.
does get better.
I think there was one thing I missed here. These.
Yeah, well, we didn't go through the
Okay.
whole because we are, you know, we're just
Is there
in the
chocolate
interest of
there?
time. Yes, right here.
So did I have a problem with that?
Well, let's see. Don't
What am I
okay,
doing?
so let's go like this and hold. And looks like she's just fine with chocolate.
That's a bad thing to know.
Yeah. Well, now you see what happens if you eat something too often. Next time we do this, you're going to
Huh.
have issues.
It's very interesting because that's the healthy things that I've been reading about that I should eat, and now I'm sensitive to them. And the problem with this is it causes inflammation not only in the leaky gut but throughout your whole body.
Right.
It can affect your heart. It can affect all kinds of things, and inflammation.
Yeah, a lot of people get joint pain, and what I hear a lot is when they lay off of their sensitive foods, their bodies feel better, they have less bloating, they have less joint pain, and their moods get better.
How about
So-
turmeric?
What?
Do you have a turmeric in there? Because I'm
Do
taking
I have
it
a
now.
turmeric in here?
Potatoes.
I don't.
No.
I don't really have a lot of the herbs in
Because
here.
it's supposed to help with your joint pain
It
and
is
stuff
supposed
like
to.
that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I want to go back to this book just for a minute before we start talking to you about this emotion code and the cats. This is really good because it is really illustrated beautifully for kids and about vegetables. And troops assemble, the forest came alive, blueberries, raspberries jumped from the bushes, marched forward, oranges, apples, and pears parachuted from the trees. It's very colorful, too. And it would make them much more interested in it. Otherwise, you can hide this stuff from kids. Like you can put avocados in chocolate. I have chocolate hummus that I got from Trader Joe's. And that's
Is
a lot
that
healthier than regular
Fabulous.
chocolate.
I
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, so this really is a nice book. So check that out for kids as a gift, The Adventures of Veggie Man. He has no idea he's going to find himself in the middle of an epic battle between the forces of good and evil. Good, nourishing food and evil junk food, that is. So it's really good. Okay. So just, do you have anything else you wanted to say about this emotion code? Is this the tapping one?
This is not tapping.
Okay.
This is different. This one has a chart. It talks about how when things happen to you going on in your life, it can get stuck in your body somewhere in your physicality, and he calls it a trapped emotion. And he has a chart that has all the different, like 60 different emotions in it. And my question would be, if somebody's got an illness or usually something that's not getting better, we'll ask, is there a trapped emotion? And with the muscle testing, we'll get a yes, and then go through the chart. You know, is a trapped emotion here, column A, column B. He makes it really simple. If you want to start doing any type of work on yourself or on your friends at home, he tells you, he goes right through the process. So anybody, he says a 7-year-old can do this.
Yeah, he talks about night terror in a 7-year-old too.
But the 7-year-olds can actually do the testing and clear the emotions on, you know, so it's the simplest and
Are you familiar with
effective
Brent
thing
Baum?
that I've seen.
Have you ever heard of Brent Baum? He does some classes about emotions too, and he takes you up to the moment before the trauma happened. Not, like some people have you work through it, like in psychiatry where I worked and things. He doesn't. He takes you up to the moment before the trauma happened, and it releases the trauma. So
I've
there's
done
all different
some-
ways of doing
yeah.
this, yeah.
I've had some work like that done
Have you?
on myself from different healers. And it's really amazing how much emotion and physical health go hand in hand. If you've seen me on any of these shows before, you know that I talk about this all the time. But you really have to look at this part of your life. And the great thing about things like this is you don't have to relive the trauma, because you really don't have to remember what happened to release it.
Now we'll go to the Carrot Cat
Ah, Carrot Cat.
and your volunteer work
Yeah.
at the shelter. Tell us about that.
I volunteer at Cat Guardians Lombard. It's actually right up the street from here. We are a no-kill shelter for cats, and we've been in existence for about 26 years, and I've been there for 10. And our mission is to rescue street cats, the ones who, not the ferals so much, there's another group that does that, but cats that have, this past year, sadly, a lot of people adopted pets, but also because of everything going on, a lot of people lost their homes or lost their jobs and couldn't take care of their pets, and sadly just put them out, to fend for themselves. And those are the ones that we take in. And I'm part of the meds team, so I do the conventional things that the vets tell us to do, but I also work with some supplements and some homeopathy and some energy work. And
where is it
find that,
located?
It's 932 East St. Charles. It's about half a mile west of here.
And this book, you were reading about this book, about he became an internet sensation.
Yeah. So the author of this book had actually released a book about her first cat, Bailey. And apparently her kids were able to dress up Bailey in all these costumes. And it's a really cute book. And Erin's got a story of her, of her own. But Bailey passed away. The kids wanted a new kitten, and they adopted Carrot from the shelter, not ours. And this is basically written as a diary of Carrot's first year. And it's really cute. Talks about the kids. They're able to do some of the same things with Carrot that they did with Bailey. But
There
really,
was something in our newsletter the other day where I lived that said, if you want somebody that'll pay something that'll pay attention to you, listen to you, be with you all the time, get a dog. If you want something that'll walk away from you and not listen to you, get a cat. And then they said, we thought you were going to say a man. The thing. But is that true about the cats?
Not all cats.
No.
There's some cats that want to be with you all the time, some cats that want to be left alone. It's usually on their terms. You can train a cat, but they can also train you. So.
Well, because I don't want anybody to say that we didn't talk about dogs here, we have these dog-friendly trailer parks addresses, and I just want to tell you a couple of them. There's one in Aurora, Phillips Dog Park on Gate Street. There's another one in Bartlett on Lambert Lane, Riley's Run Dog Park. Batavia has another one, and that's on Main Street. Burbank has one at 80th and Newcastle. Carroll Stream has one on Coon Road. Is that how you pronounce it? K-U-H-A? Okay.
Yeah.
Chicago has the Challenger Dog Park, which is on Irving Park Road. Another one at 6000 South Lakeshore Drive. Another one in Logan Square. And Lakeshore Park, Wicker Park, Fred Anderson Dog Park, Hound Dog Park. They're all in Wabash and Damon and Benton. And you just got to drive up and down, and you get to meet people, I guess, who have other dogs. Do you have it? You don't have a dog. You're purely cats, right?
Yeah,
okay.
well.
So, and I wanted to mention this, which I didn't mention before when we were talking about eating. If you have some kind of intolerances and you need lactose-free or gluten-free food, these are excellent, these folio cheese wraps that I found. You can use them as a wrap. You can put them in the microwave. They say to make them crisp too. I was not successful in doing that. But you can wrap them around anything, or just like you wrap lettuce around things, so that you don't have to eat bread, particularly if you're sensitive to bread. Bread, the more I eat, the more I want of it. I guess that's true of a lot of people. Anyway, you can melt it, and it's made by Lotito Foods, Lotito Foods, and they are out of Edison, New Jersey. So you can look them up, but they're called the Folio cheese wraps. They didn't make it to the studio. I wanted you guys to eat them, but they have to be refrigerated too. So they're very good, and they come in different flavors. This one, Jarlsberg and cheddar. So that's very good. And I did want to talk about this other thing that we mentioned last time about skin. And this is Char's, and this is the eye wrinkle fighting serum and Char's effective skincare Bacachil, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Do you know about that? That's a new thing that takes the place of retinol. It's not as strong on your skin. It's the natural retinol alternative. And I have been using these because last year I never had dry skin before. And I've gotten suntan a million times because I tan very easily. And people always complimented me on my tan, which made me go and have more of a tan. So it really needed to have some work. And so this has helped me. And you can look it up. It's Char's, CHAR apostrophe S, effective skincare. We have 3 minutes left, Dr. Rindie Coker. What would you like to say? Something in particular? Love?
Love is the strongest medicine. You know? Oh yeah, we've got a lot of books here, but I was looking at this one before we got started, and thinking about he started helping people, just not an oncologist, but some people with cancer with music, and there are just so many ways that you can get down to that emotional core. Energy work is one, music is another. The prescription that I have for everybody is take 30 minutes a day and do something that makes you happy, that brings you joy, whatever it is. If it's playing music, walking your dog, petting your cat, watching comedies, snuggling with a loved one, whatever it is that can bring your emotions up.
Well, music is good for dementia and things too. It takes people back to good memories. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But it can bring up a lot
in the last minute, tell them how they can contact you if they have questions about any of this.
Yes.
The cat shelter or your practice here.
Dr. Rindie Coker, Coker D.N. I'm a napropath. My website is drrindiecoker.com. My phone number is 708-955-7953. I'm located at 130 East St. Charles Road in Villa Park, Illinois. So you can come see me, and if you want a tour of the cat shelter, let me know, and maybe you'll find a kitty to take home too.
And in the last minute, I want to say someone sent me this card, and it's a card that they send from rosieswonders.com. It's ROSIES wonders.com. Reclaim your connection. This is to write and send to someone special. And I guess when you order these, you get the card, and it's enclosed, and it even has a stamp on it, so you don't have to search for a stamp to thank somebody. This one says huge thanks. And huge thanks to you for having us here, and thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. I'm Karon Gibson, a registered nurse. You can email me at asktvnurse@yahoo.com. Thank you for watching.